invite all the Council of Moderators that being discussion in each panels. Professor Brandon Ho from UHA University, please.
And then the second moderator I would like to invite is His Excellency Bapak Sidarto Suryo Dipuro. Big applause for next to Brandon, Pak Dubes.
Next, I would like to invite Pak Dino R. Kusnadi.
Next to Pak Dubes. And then the next one, my beloved colleague, Ibu Sylvia Yasid, PhD.
And then the expert from our department on international political economy, Adelbert Tono.
I guess I'm very lucky to invite female speakers. Always. So Ibu Yulia Indrawati Sari, please. Yeah. Okay.
But not least, I would like also to invite Mas Pius Sugeng Prasetyo.
Yes, nggak apa-apa, aku di sini aja. Good. Excellent. To introduce all speakers in the very, very final plenary sessions of the ICON IR 2020. Right? So what's the idea? Why we have this very final plenary sessions? Usually when we have international conference, everybody is happy, gitu, presenting their ideas. Gitu. But then when the conference finished, nothing. Go home, business as usual, just easily forget what has been discussed in the international conference. So this year, international conference on international relations, we have an idea to send the message, what we call it, UNPAR message. Thank you, Bapak Kadar. Yeah. And of course, the message actually presented by you already. You presented ideas and also message. And I already draw. So thank you for all moderators. Yeah, you already write, and don't worry, I already read every single sentence. And then we will have what we call it UNPAR message. Okay, back to. Okay. I think the first question, Mas Sidil.
Okay, first of all, maybe I would like to ask every moderators here about the key takeaways from your panels and based on your expertise. I would like to begin with Professor Brandon Ho. What key takeaways that you have get from panels that you are involved on the panel?
Of course, the overview of the panels.
Yeah.
Is there any new perspective, new ideas from brilliant presenters? That will be glad for us to know. Dr. Brandon, yeah.
I really enjoyed the conference, and I think what it's really brought home is, first of all, the interdisciplinary nature of the governance challenges that we're facing. Secondly, the multitude of drivers for turbulence. There are lots of different new challenges as well as old challenges resurgent that we're facing. And thirdly, I think what we've seen here is the introduction of new ideas, new potential solutions for these new problems, as well as perhaps some of the old problems, new roles for new actors. So that's what we've seen here. I think that obviously Indonesian ideas, but global South ideas, non-traditional actors, non-great power actors taking a more leading role to tackle some of these challenges.
Okay, thank you, Professor Brandon Ho. Now I would like to ask His Excellencies Mas Arto.
Thank you.
Regarding you are involved in skepticism panel and also in student panel. What key take you get from those panels?
The presentations and the work that I do are actually uh, of the same subject matter. And therefore, we come from very different perspectives. I benefited from the views and the presentations, and hopefully also benefit from the views that I brought. The way forward, and this is something that I've also pushing the foreign ministry to do, is to engage more with academia, because we need to get more information from what the academia does and what Professor Howe was saying about interdisciplinary. So various issues that the foreign ministry is dealing with, probably there is some research on it in academia from various schools. It could be international relations, it could be international law, it could be anthropology, it could be economics. So what I think the forward would be is on issues. We need to have more discussion, perhaps in a round table one day. What the foreign ministry needs, it's not a paper, but a discussion, because every academic, every expert would bring to the table some perspective, and vice versa. If an academic, um, uh, a professor or other from the teaching or the research agencies, they need information, they can either request for a roundtable with the foreign ministry. On ASEAN could be with my office, or they can seek an 2 days, 3 days internship in the ministry, and therefore understand the perspective. This is to bring together the perspective. I think that's how we can benefit. Research will become a lot more purposeful, meaningful to those doing the actual work, and vice versa. Those doing actual work can benefit from views of the horizon or beyond the bend. So I think this is how the way forward should be in very practical terms.
Okay. Of course, Pacis will be very happy. Okay, hold the mic.
Sure.
Pacis will be very happy to follow up the little actions that contribute to a great impact. So thank you. But let me follow up about ASEAN Central. Do you find that presenters generally are skeptical toward ASEAN? Did you see in the panel sessions? Or more optimistic than you who are working daily to deal with ASEAN process? Can you tell us that?
But skepticism is helpful. Skepticism is useful. You need a healthy dose of skepticism in everything you do. You need a mirror to make sure you are never sure that you are doing is right, especially if you are establishing new paths. And in a region that is evolving very quickly, without any precedents in the past. We talk about great power politics, etc. Yes, this happens in history, but this is the only time in the past few centuries where independent states, like Indonesia, like ASEAN member states, are actually they have evolved enough as independent states to insist on a voice that will not be swayed or would be less swayed one way or another, because they have their own interest and they voice their interest. So There is no precedence in modern history to this. We are establishing new paths. So having discussions is important. Um, at the same time, I will also say that due to the academic nature, it's about theories, concepts. There's the risk of academia's um, choosing information to fit with the framework. And that runs the risk of um, disregarding other information that actually plays a role. That should be a variable in the construct. So that is an academic challenge. I will not delve too much into it. But again, having a more intense interaction between government and academia should fill that void.
Okay, thank you, Mas Pur.
If you want to follow the EU, you should first check with the UK.
Okay, now with Mas Dino Kusnadi, you are involved in Indonesia foreign policy, rejuvenating Indonesia foreign policy panels. So, what's your key takeaways from the panels?
In the discussions that I was involved in, I have to say that I was very impressed and widened and broadened my personal attention first. I was, I think, amazed that all three levels of first one is exploration. Many have dared to explore where no man has gone before. They try to quantify things that are qualitative, and I think that's very brave. I think you should move on and better their efforts. There were sharp and crisp analysis of certain topics that they think they could improve and go outside the box. And I've also seen possible ways to predict the future on what should be done. So all these three levels, I see there's a lot of progress. Many ideas, I thought there was also close between theory and practice. And I think that's the key, because what's the point of having a good idea or a good concept if it cannot be practiced and well executed? So those three, without pointing out which ones, I think all have a bright way in their research. The key takeaways is that sometimes things that are, in my experience, are ideally better does not necessarily reflect on that it will fit in and how it's going to be implemented. I think for me, that's the whole point of working in a social environment. Each and every case can be unique. It can be special. It can be, because of time factor, it can be in a crisis mode where you have to sacrifice several factors to it. But I think the level of discussions is what is important, because it gives ownership to the people who have that idea, and that they contribute whatever substance that they can deliver, and that it can be incorporated within the decision-making process. So within that channel, I think that is why practices or events such as this, which I already called it's timely because it's in the cusp of having a new government, it should be heard, and that ideas, I think, should be guarded and make sure that it have somewhat be considered as one of the inputs in the decision-making process.
We'll talk about that later. For the
We'll
second
talk about
question.
it
Give it for the second question. But just follow up your points about presenters. Do you find that presenters generally optimistic or pessimistic toward Indonesian role in internal states? And also the question about neutrality, the questions about pre and active. Do you find any ideas about that?
There's a broad range of optimistic that I saw because, first of all, they cared. And however harsh or strong their voices are, it also reflects on how much they care and they want to have that. But I also see that whatever idea that you have, it should also see the limitations that we have. So it has to balance out between that idea and how to implement it, and also take into account the limitations that we have. And this, I think, is why we need forums such as this, so we can bridge and elevate it into the same level.
Definitely yes. Definitely. Mas Idil, the next.
Okay, thank you. Now we're moving to Mbak Sylvie. Mbak Sylvie, you are involved in migration,
Migration and the Global South.
the Global South panels. What your impression about the panels and the key takeaways from that panel?
Okay. The first impression is I was quite surprised why it was quite, there were not many who were in the panel, while migration is actually what caused the pandemic and was disrupted by the pandemic. We have a lot to say about it, but probably all the scholars on migration are still out there busy. I'm sure we still care about the issue. My observation of the panel is that I didn't have the courage when I was in undergraduate study. I didn't have the courage to come to this kind of conference and appreciate the students that presented. You have grabbed the opportunity, and yeah, congratulations for you.
So why not we give a big applause
Yes.
for the students? Yes, correct.
And also reality check for me. Somebody from the panel knew me from, she was still in undergraduate study, and now she is already a lecturer, Mas. I feel really old. But the key takeaways, Mas Idil, is that I think migration issues, we have to admit that the issue is entangled with so many issues: economic, politics, crime, poverty, and even somebody's mentioned about mercenaries, Mas Bur. It's about mafia and everything, gun trading and everything. And also, this is something that we need to recall again and again, that with these people who are involved in mobility, there are so many identities attached to them. You cannot just say, oh, this is a economic migration, or this is a labor migration. No, it becomes more complicated than that. And if you want to solve it, if you want to help them, then you have to identify all identities. Then you have the possibility to help them. If not, you will just give them like vitamins instead of specific medicine. So it will be a general cure instead of a specific cure. And then the other takeaways is that been said by the judge here, that at the time being, we have to be realistic. We have to choose what is the most feasible way out, rather than going for the ideals. The word is not its ideal condition right now. And the last one is domestic politics, were mentioned when Kishino and Tim was talking about Israel domestic politics. We kind of forget about that. We see Israel as Israel. We don't really break it down what is happening inside the country. And at that point, I would like to point out that nobody has really mentioned anything about cities in this conference, while actually that's what is important right now. City diplomacy, city initiatives, and UNPAR is really into the city politics and city diplomacies. The last one is, Masbur, I would like to ask for a blessing from our colleagues from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that I think UNPAR is approached by somebody from Directorate General Kebudayaan, and they want to have ideas from the students of how we can improve our cultural diplomacy. So with permission, we would like to have a session with them so we can have bright ideas from our students. Thank you, Mas.
Excellent. You will take notes. Put on the agenda. Big applause for you, sir.
Okay. Now next to Mas Irawan. Mas Irawan, regarding the global economy today,
Yes.
what key takeaways that you can provide?
Okay, the takeaway. I was asked 3 questions by Mas Pur, and I'm wondering if I can answer
The
all
first
of
question
them.
first, Mas. The first
Sorry?
question first.
The first question. Okay, I will start with by saying that I started this seminar or in the seminar with worries, and I think at this moment I'm still worried. But then I remember the saying or what has been said by Socrates. Socrates was asked by that, what is a, and Socrates said, the brave person is identify the problems that he has or that she has. But please don't stop there. And after that, try to find the solutions. So I'm still worried, and I think it is a healthy tendency. So referring to the first question about the global economy, from the sessions, there are several features that I can identify. The first one is that the global economy is actually trying to recover from its wounds that caused by global pandemic in 2021. But again, unfortunately, the reality says that the recovery process is going very slow. This can be seen as the weakening or the still weak economy of big countries, the locomotive of economic growth like States, UK, or European Union, Japan, and China even. Yeah. The second one from the seminar, I'm very convinced also by the presentation made by Mas Rino and the others, that environment has become a very important variable in the global economy. The reason behind this is that a lot of big projects will not be financed by banks, by financial institution, if it is not fit to the economic criteria, to the environment criteria. And third feature is that I'm really worried about the geopolitical constellation marked by rivalry, intense rivalry, and by war. I think this is a very bad and counterproductive tendency or factor that affect the slowing down of the global economy. And the next question would be, what should be taken by Indonesia?
Put the next. Put the next question. We will ask you the following question.
Okay.
So no
okay.
worries. So rivalry between US and
Between US and China, US
actually
with
we have representative from
Russia.
China, yeah? Yeah, of course you will give response with the kind of hostility that actually have. Actually had, or actually they are more cooperating, willing to have cooperations. So I'm just worried that we misperceive about the rivalry itself. But let's talk about this later. So thank you, Pak Irawan, for the overview of the panel.
Okay. Now we'll go to Mbak Yulia Indrawati Sari, Mbak Indri, talking about GETSI, gender equality, disability, and social inclusion. What your impression of the panel and the presentation from the speakers?
Okay, thank you, Mas Idil. I'm really happy to be in the JC panels and to have 2 JC panels in this international conference of IR, Mas Pur. And actually, why it's very important because we know that our life is far from the ideal. We have not yet reached society without class. We have so many groups, women, children, disability, ethnicity, and religious minorities that have limited opportunities, to access resources. So I guess this is the core of the JETSI panels. And we are privileged actually to hear from 15 researchers across 9 insightful presentations coming from Cimbulit, Bandung, to Jatinangor, and then Purwokerto, and then Malang. And also one researcher is from United Kingdom University. And the presentation address diverse contexts and areas from global scale to the Republic of Congo, to Indonesia, and to the village in between Papua and Papua New Guinea, and from masculinity in security sector to gender in development. Yeah. We hope next year, or in the next 2 years, there are more presentation on disabilities and other social inclusion. And for the key takeaways, there are 4 key takeaways, Mas Pur. The first one is on the issue on masculinity and security. So some of the presentations highlight or confirm the literature saying that masculinity has a strong relationship with security issue. Masculinity approach in security induce sexual violence. Yeah, and hence more women in security sectors actually can impose to more safe and inclusive environment. And the second takeaway is on gender in development. So gender inequality remains the huge gap. Yeah, it hasn't changed much in some parts of the world or the region. Yeah, we know that. But one of the presentation actually highlights a concept that worth to explore, to think of. Yeah, unlike traditional leadership in the workplace saying that effective, that masculinity leadership is effective, this presentation highlights that motherhood leadership to complement female leadership actually is good for the workplace because it creates care inclusive environment and so high leadership quality. And the third takeaway is on the what we call intersectionality. As in women itself is not homogeneous. Yeah. So there is presentation highlights the young women in isolated island in Morotai. Yeah. So it shows the complexity of the vulnerabilities and the layers of the insecurities. So among the JETSI itself, among the women, among the disability, there are also those with the most or the least access. And we need to keep producing knowledge on them. And the last one is actually, yet despite their lack of access, actually most of the presentation highlights the important contribution. Yeah, more women in securities produce more care and inclusive environment. Motherhood leadership is better in the workplace to create kind institutions. Yeah, so I guess that's 4 key takeaways from the JETSI panel.
It's quite clear, yes? Very clear. Thank you, Bu.
Yeah, thank you. Mas Pius, you are involved in student panels,
Yes.
And it relate with public policy and then international relations. What key takeaways that you can highlight from the panel?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy with the panels, and all of the speakers, the presenters, are women. So
You are lucky.
yeah, I'm lucky that they focus on the issue of the ethical behavior of government, and the other presenter is the issue of people engagement. So I think this important in order to, let's say, to improve, especially in the government, in order to service to the to serve to give the service to the society, to the people. Our student really focus on the issue of how the government can provide a really good, let's say, service to the people. And one of the important thing and the crucial thing that perhaps Sylvie said that we don't talk about city, but one of the presenter talk about that. The issue of city means especially on the issue of food waste. So I think one of the this issue, especially a food waste issue, I think it's a global issue because we all Indonesia is one of the let's say one of the country that really produce food waste. Yeah. So I think this is crucial issue that students really focus on this issue and how to improve this, how to solve this problem. So the key issue is how to, let's say, improve engagement of especially people in order to solve this problem. Even this is they make a research from the, let's say, local issue in Bandung, but they have a global perspective that this is a really global issue, global problem. In order to make a, let's say, to balance that the group that have no food and the other is surplus of food. So this is the issue that we have to make a concern for us. So yeah, I'm happy that our students have a, let's say, intelligent perspective, especially on the issue of food, especially in the city, that perhaps it will be a crucial issue that we can discuss in the next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it's so various, Spur, from great power politics and the regional problems, Indonesia foreign policy, migration, into city public policy government. So
But overall, it's impressive, isn't it?
yeah,
Can we say that the conference, Iconir 2024, quite successful this year? Can we?
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
okay, big applause for that. Thank you for the presenters. Your contribution is highly appreciated. Your contribution is highly appreciated for that. Now it's time. We have 15 minutes to make it quick. 15 minutes only to formulate the message. Then I will ask the question. I'll question to every single speakers. So here is the message. Message without action will be nothing. So the question will be should be the message and the action, concrete action that maybe parties, Department of International Relations, UNPAR, can contribute to make the message achievable. Okay, let's start with question to you, Brendan Howie, next. And on the questions about geopolitics and climate change. Oh, sorry, geopolitics, and then we have also concern on multilateralism and global governance. Langsung aja. Geopolitik, I will give question on geopolitik, global governance, and multilateralism. Yes, on geopolitik. Yeah, on geopolitik, of course, all speakers deeply concerned with the rivalry, as just Pak Irawan highlighted, between major powers. And something that, what can we do? Looks nothing we can do. We acknowledge the potential of global south countries, which is not explored so far. Can you say something about a strong message for this? Yes.
I think my message is going to be a triple H message. First of all, hierarchy. Challenge hierarchy across all of these issues. Second, holistic. Solutions must be holistic in nature to take into account the interdisciplinary nature of the challenges, but also across regions. Thirdly, And I'll think of it in a minute. Holistic, hierarchical, hybridization. So we need hybrid approaches that combine policy and theory, or policy and academe, that combine the global north and the global south, that combine different regions, that combine state actors and non-state actors, that combine top-down and bottom-up. So hybridization would be my third H. And if I had a fourth H, it would be human-centered.
Then the question is, what concrete action we can start?
Yeah, well, the action that we can start with, first of all, I hope that government actors and policymakers will support future conferences
Yes.
held at UNPAR and elsewhere. So that's one very major action. Secondly, we need to engage with the lowercase HDPN, Humanitarian Development Peace Nexus. But too often in international relations, we focus only on the state actors and only on the great powers of the state actors. So we need to broaden our base of analysis. And that needs to be done at both the policy level and the academic level. It's too easy to get distracted by the great powers.
All right. Yes, we take note there. Of course, after this, we can communicate and
Sure.
plan for small discussion first. And
There
then
we go.
next year, we'll have a big conference commemorating 17 commemoration of 17 years of commemoration of Bandung Principle. And then in 2 years, you have a big event here in Indonesia. Is it possible?
That'd be good.
Maybe that's also another idea for that. So thank you for big message for Brandon Nawi. Okay, let's talk about ASEAN. ASEAN centrality. You highlight, Pak Dubes highlighted skepticism is okay lah. Gitu ya. It's okay lah. It's common among many people. From that's right. Yes. Gitu. So a recommendation from the panel. Gitu. Greater role, play important role as moderator. We always talk about centrality, sitting on the driving seat, shaping the directions. We know they're supposed to know the direction of Asia. So what will be the message to strengthen ASEAN centrality and simple important action to take first?
What is written in the draft, I think is reflective of the discussion.
Yeah.
And I think that is a workable conclusion in the sense that for UNPAR to play a role, this could be the start of it. When it comes to next step, whether 70 years or Bandung or the next ICON IR, I think UNPAR should have a greater ambition, especially if it wants to feed into policy making. I don't think such message will necessarily get to the audience that you want, but it's about how to engage decision makers. So the session of this conference in a plenary setting, I think that has room for further improvements. We need to further elevate the stature of it, and therefore also gain the attention from decision makers, because that is what you want. Contribution in terms of ideas through research. I talked about this earlier, but also about engagements. So that is what you want. Higher level, elevate the stature, and have that kind of engagement.
So thank you for the message that I have to write on that. Thank you. Indeed. So Pacis at least now is working with Ministry of Home Affairs on ASEAN Security Network. I think that's also good exercises. Cities, part of the extension. What we formulate on foreign policy. Okay, three para. Of course, more greater role in and of course by having both domestic support. I think we have discussion on that. Without domestic support, then will be very hard, Pak Dino, to negotiate with countries like even African countries. When we provide funding, how could Indonesia help African countries if Indonesia still have so many poor people in here? So what will be the message?
I saw some wordings before regarding global powers. When I think, can you go back to the
Oh yes, sure.
wordings? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have global again before that, when geopolitics deeply concerned between major powers, importance of all parties to impose unilateral powers to come to the negotiating table.
That's the dream from the academy.
But yeah,
If
but
you're
they-
competing,
what are
then-
they? What are what? Yes, I think it implies that you
Yes.
should talk it among themselves and not involve the impact to your rivalry for us to choose sides. I think that's where you're coming into, yeah.
Yes.
But negotiations is idealistic. Do you think? Well, how do you negotiate a rivalry? Part is just have a zero-sum game. You don't negotiate and discuss it or settle it among themselves. But again, I'm not criticizing on the words you choose, but I'm just questioning what I'm thinking. So that part, I guess, I think is
Okay. That, of course, the committee will discuss
Yeah,
the formulation of this.
But on
this
the
wording,
diplomatic
yes.
terms, I think that reflects the discussions that we've had.
Yes.
I think we've balanced it out that between what is ideal and what is in the reality is now more balanced out. You know the consequences of such actions and what the implications of it. I guess that's already a very strong connections or progress that we have here.
Yes.
Key takeaways, I think, is that we should always do as far as how much that we can, depending on your own weight. Some says that we are punching below our weight, which I also believe that we have more to provide, but we are limited by our own thoughts and thinkings and our own needs. So I guess Indonesia should embark on things that are effective and efficient
All right.
without, for instance, I've heard some scholars say that we have ideas, and there are a lot of experiences that Indonesia have that can be shared, and that hopefully that these ideas from Indonesia's experience can be followed with other countries. We talked about Myanmar. Oh, that was during beer, sorry. That was the beer talking. Like Myanmar.
I will start it with your point. So I just
and this
suggesting
is,
to,
yeah.
no.
And this isn't something new. We had,
Yes.
for instance, Bali Democracy Forum of sharing, not lecturing, and then have those countries from their own experiences take on those ideas. I think that's where Indonesia is good at. We are good in letting people know this is our experience, but we're not lecturing you. Maybe you should follow. And these kinds of steps, I think, is what is appreciated in the global South. You said that we don't have any baggages of colonialism. We can share our experiences in going or in developing ourselves. And these should be the endeavors that we should do. We should rally again the global South. We don't lead, but we ask them to develop together because we have the same voice. And that hopefully the same voice can be heard by the global North that are now dominating the global arena.
Definitely. I think in line with your argument as well. Indonesia should build closer relationship with Korea, Turkey, then Mexico.
That's
Like with countries on the same level.
That's
We call
still
it global
relevant.
South. Yes,
That's still
yes.
relevant with
Yes.
the stature of non-aligned that we have, that we are developing countries, that we we're not championing South-South, but we try to give other southern countries confidence to build by themselves and reach a certain level where they can provide welfare, they can provide security, they can provide the diversity within their own public from their own experiences, learning from the experiences of Indonesia as a leader.
Excellent. Thank you. Big applause for Mas Dino. Yeah. Take note the message. And then let's go to refugees, migration. I think we can take some recommendation as well. Bu Sylvie.
Mas Pur, I would like to add, I think, permission to be the voice of UNPAR for a while.
Yes.
We have Humanum, and I would like to add that all the migration infrastructure needs to be managed to focus on the betterment of human being. So the individual should be the central of all initiatives, not other aspects only. So, yeah.
So should be individual needs centric rather than the
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Humanum or value. Why not? Mas Irawan.
Okay, about the value. I think I am beginning to have a dream. I have a dream that this forum can distribute, can resonance a value, especially directed to big powers, to respect multilateralism, not to intervene them with their geopolitical agenda. Because again, my dream is that I hope it is realistic. Multilateralism is the one and only possible way for the world to achieve peace and welfare. Thank you.
Okay, of course, Brendan has a view on the multilateralism, and also we have our colleague from China, but hold. Then goes to Cat Sivers. We have also recommendation for JHC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with most of the recommendation, but I would like to propose one that we should do together is from a V is a visible, and the antonym of visible is invisible. So I would like to ask of you is to let's make these groups visible. Don't let them invisible. Don't let disability, social inclusion, and other ethnicity, religious minorities are invisible from our discussion, from our knowledge, from our policy narrative, and etc. So we are all here, researchers here. Keep producing knowledge about them, keep talking about them, and keep voicing their concerns. Yeah. That's it.
Visibility, I think that's the key.
Visibility is
Become
the
visible and
key.
everybody recognize
Yes.
they exist,
Yeah.
including the problems.
Yes.
And then we should be committed to
Yes.
help them
Yeah.
solve the problem.
Yes.
Excellent. Ibu Indrawati Sari, thank you. And then last but not least, from the young people.
Yeah, even from the young people.
Of course, the food is very important for everybody. Yeah, food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even from the young people, but I can get the, let's say, inspiration from them that the government should create what we call it innovative and inclusive policy. Means that the policy can engage the stakeholders in order to solve the problem, especially focusing on city issue. So if UNBAR want to step forward, I think we can start from the city, as we have already started. And I also, perhaps the connection on the network of the city in the world, starting from the ASEAN, for example, we can start from that. And from the, let's say, experiences from each country, especially coming from, for example, here, we can start, we can create, let's say, what we call it, world order, starting from the issue of city and under the umbrella of innovative and inclusive policy.
Definitely.
Thank
Inclusive
you.
policy must be used. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. So, big applause for all keynote speakers in this final session. But we still have 2 minutes. We still have 2 minutes. And allow me to also invite my colleague from Beijing, because we are talking about the rivalry between US and your country. Yeah. Can you say in few words, yeah, your willingness, your commitment, your country's commitment to cooperate with Global South rather than killing Global South? Say something in few minutes. Just 2 minutes, I think the maximum. Yeah.
Time and keep the accuracy of my words. Would you please turn on your Chinese, English, or Chinese Indonesian language translator from your cell phone?
Like
I want to
speak
speak
Mandarin.
in Chinese.
Mas Dino, can you help to translate? It's just in English and simple words.
I'm joking.
We panic. You joke, we panic.
Once again, my privilege to be invited to join the visible, branded Bandung conference organized by Mbara Icon IR. Your arrangements, your selection of VVIP speakers, extremely manageable, extremely successful. From my personal view, I sincerely ask. Oh, by the way, it is my honor to hear a lot of researchers, speakers mention the name of China. It is my honor right now from the audience representing China. I hope the next biannual conference, there will be more Chinese experts be invited, attending, and share their insights with the students and teachers and big boss. From my takeaways, if you want to research some topics relating to China, sincerely ask the researchers, the students, the teachers, travel to China. Otherwise, just to follow the data resources, it's no way. It's no way. China, you must touch him and then get your impression from him.
And the good news is Chinese government will provide tickets for everyone. That's right? Yes. Yes.
Visa-free policy will be a benefit for all of us, including me. Finally, I really ask your department to open a course named International Organization with legal or criminal nature, which can teach your students, opening your mind over the international affairs, specifically for the emerging legal issues. Hamas, Israel, be arrest warrant delivery by the ICC. Even Mr. President of Russia Federation, Putin, had been under
okay, I
the
think
arrest
we
warrant.
unfortunately the time, but we can get your message.
Thank
So
you.
We know the position of China in
Once
regard
again,
to Israel and Hamas.
warmly welcome to China to talk with your Chinese counterparts. You can know what is the real China is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Big applause. Okay. So, Professor Brandon Howie, Pak Dubes, Arto, Pak Dino, Bu Sylvia Yasid, Pak Irawan, Bu Indrawati Sari, Bu Indri, Mas Pius, indeed thank you very much. And now start my time to appreciate my team. You can go back to your seats now. We come to the conclusions. Yes, big applause. Jangan ragu-ragu. Big applause for the speaker. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already working since last year. sometime in August, September, Mas Idil. And without the support from all members of the organizing committee, then it's impossible, yeah, to have this Iconor 2024. So first, allow me to invite Tim Materi to go forward.
Mas Adri, Kisino, Prames,
Yeah.
Mas Ir.
So the Tim Materi prepare term of reference for choosing the
Mas Adri?
speakers, topics, everything before other teams began to work. Okay, the photographer, please make sure you take a photo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, big applause for Tim Materi, we call it. Mohon maaf, saya lupa bunganya ya, gitu ya. Okay, the next team that I would like to invite is publikasi and documentation. So once the materi finish the job, then publish internationally. So please allow me to invite Mas Aska and the team. We highly appreciate for that. Okay, we'll be full of the people after this, yeah. And then secretariat, publish already. Secretariat prepare for all documentations, including registration process. Let me allow me to invite Ibu Ate and all the teams. Mahasiswanya nanti gabungnya nanti belakang ya. Yeah. Okay. Then come secretariat, of course. Program. And also logistics. Ibu Ica, please. Mas Marcel, Amel.
Mas Yoman.
Mas Nyoman, please. But you still have responsibility this happening, Mas Nyoman. Pak Dino still here. It is in your hand, Pak Dino, ya. Make sure he's be in the train station at the right time. Yes, yes. Okay, he is the team acara ya and logistic. Then allow me to invite siapa lagi ya?
Wakil.
Oh, my deputy chair of Icon 2024. Without her, it's very hard for me to work. Ibu Jessica.
Dahara dan konsumsi.
Okay, last but not least, but the most important, whom we always love and never-ending love, Ibu kita Elizabeth Satya Dewi. I love you, Bu. Okay, good. All committee already here, ya? Sudah? Yeah, hopefully we don't miss anything. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. But special thank goes to Pak Dubes. Pak Dubes, please, Pak Dubes, boleh berdiri sebagai bagian dari tim kita, boleh? Can you come? And Mas Dino as well. Yeah. Definitely, Brandon, you are invited as well. You're part of the committee. Yeah, we're honored to have you. Okay. Yes, definitely. Okay, let's take a photo first. Of course, we are very thankful for the moderator. We'll invite you later. Yeah. Okay, campus number 3, PJ. Pemilu boleh. The Department of Industrial and Tradition, we call it Unggul Tradition. Number one. Kurang dekat. Unggul Pak, bukan dia unggul. And always keep the tradition to be unggul. To the top, always to the top. And you Manu. Thank you. Now allow me to invite moderators discussion to come forward as well because your contribution is very, very important as well for us. Mas Mangadar, please, Ibu Silvia Yasin.
Good. Mas Yoni.
Okay, everyone, student also included, please come forward and take photo and then we can go. Shall we? That's the easy way. Oh yes, okay. Kita di sini, lalu ke belakang. So thank you very much. Sorry, I cannot hold you. This is Mas Yomar, you have to be responsible for this gentleman too. Yeah. 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 Siddiq and friends, please. Yes, good.
Be fantastic.